Here is Jeff, the host of the Gridiron.
All right. Welcome to the Gridiron, baby. If you give this video a thumbs up or maybe share this video, that would be absolutely freaking phenomenal. If you subscribe to my channel, thank you. If not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. It's totally free of charge. But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. If you want to help support my channel out, description box below, very top link takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. Each one has their own little perks to them. So once again, if you want to help support my channel, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Once again, thank you. And finally, just underneath that, there's another link in there that takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have over 10,000 members in the group, and it is doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I got internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group darn near 365. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You will not be dissatisfied. I promise. Well, here we are again. Here we are again. Another week of torture. Huh? Another week. How are they going to this game up this tomorrow? Huh? How are we going to lose this one? Huh? But at least this one, we have a little bit of hope, right, for the future. You know, we got something to look forward to, right? We got some, hopefully some excitement. Huh? Hopefully the birth of a little bouncing baby quarterback, little baby Dart, right now. I mean, in was that 747 consecutive just total trash season in a row. We have a little ray of sunshine, hopefully. You know, it was kind of like, you know, with Daniel Jones and you know, whatever. You know, you want to go back to Eli Manning, and of course, then they talk about, you know, going back to Phil Simms, and you know, so it's, you know, hopefully, right? I mean, we have no idea what's going to go on with the coaching staff and the end of the season and all that and everything, but hopefully, you know, we have our quarterback. You know, the most, you know, difficult to me, the most difficult position, obviously, in all sports, period, bar none, right? I mean, if he goes in there, obviously throws three touchdown passes and no interceptions and 300 yards, sign me up, you know, but don't, I wouldn't get, you know, too carried away with that. Do you see like little glimpses, right? You know, right, running for the first down, making some good passes here, checking stuff off there, you know, right? You know, let's not forget what, you know, Eli, you know, I mean, we were 5-4, and before you can blink your eyes, when they put Eli in, right, in 2004, and before you can blink your eye, we went from 5-4 to 5-10. He learned a lot in those 6 losses, right? But also, you know, he a couple of those games, he really looked bad, especially that Raven game. I mean, he looked absolutely horrible, right? So even, you know, it just goes to show you, right, is that even though, you know, you got a brand new quarterback goes out there and it looks really bad, it's not the end of the world. Okay. I've seen a lot of, you know, stuff like, you know, comparing, I guess, our last first, you know, for first round quarterbacks, right? I mean, you got Phil Simms and you got, you know, Eli. Well, you know, you could talk about, you know, if you want to go Eli Manning, and then of course, you know, Daniel Jones and Jaxson Dart. Now they talk about Phil Simms won his first start, 1979. It was against the Buccaneers, and actually, you know, I mean, that's what you're supposed to do, right? John McKay, you know, came. I don't know what he was smoking, but he went from came from USC. I mean, back then, USC was boom up here, even though, to Tampa Bay, right? And in 76 and 77, they lost their first 26 games, right? So they were 0-26, right? The final two games, because in 76 and 77, they only played 14 games. 78, they went to the 16-game schedule. But they won their final two games of the 1977 season. So they were 0-14, and then they went 2-12. But right, what you were supposed to do, as back then, with draft coaching, proper coaching, maybe a trade, right? There wasn't no free agency frenzy, right? Through coaching, drafting, maybe a trade here or there or so. You build your team, you build the roster, and you go right. So I don't remember what they were in 78, but they went from 0-14 to 2-12. The Bucks, right? And in 78 they got a little bit better, and in 79 somehow they went from 2-12, 77. The 79, they went to 10-6 and they actually made the play. Actually, they went to the championship game. They lost 9-0. They had a great defense. Their offense was not super spectacular. But Phil Simms won his first game in 1979 against those Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They won 17-14. So you look at that and say, oh, Phil Simms, all right, won his first game against a good team that went to the playoffs. All right, Phil. Way to go, brother. Good job. Not necessarily. Okay, so, we got to keep. Phil Simms was 6 out of 12 in that game, the game he won. Hey, you win. Right? In the baseball box score, when you go 1 for 1 and they look at the newspaper the next day, oh, solid single. Way to go. It's what it looks like in the box score, right? Little do you know that, you swung at the ball and hit the bottom of the bat and it trickled, 16 feet in front of the plate, and the catcher and the pitcher both ran for it. They knocked each other out going for it. The ball lay there and you ran to first base and you got it, right? But in the box score, it looks like, oh, wow, good solid single, baby. We got a hitter there. You look at Phil, same thing. Phil Simms, right? I'm so happy we drafted him, right? But he got his first win in his first game, but he was 6 for 12 with, I think, 38 or 39 yards. He got sacked. He wound up with like 19 passing yards for a game. A game. 19. Let me see. $18. He wound up with 18 net passing yards. Phil Simms, his first game. He threw 12 passes, 18 net passing yards, 1.5 yards per pass attempt. 18 yards for the game. Not on one pass, not on one drive, not in one quarter, not in one half, not in three quarters. For the game, 18 yards. They ran the ball like 50, I forgot what it was, 54 times or something like that. So that's how they won. It wasn't from Phil. Can guarantee you that. Okay. So Phil Simms won his first game in his career with 18 net passing yards. Okay. Then you fast forward. Obviously, Eli lost his first career, but then you got Daniel Jones won his. That was a heck of a game. Of course, it helped that Tampa Bay missed the field goal at the end of the game, but it was a heck of a game by Daniel Jones. So, yeah, but don't expect too much from Dart. I mean, what Daniel Jones did was, he had 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. He ran 2, passed for 2, had a phenomenal game, right? But after that, it is what it is, right? From Daniel Jones. But don't expect a well of a lot from Dart. He's got a lot to learn. I mean, he came out of college pretty well prepared, Okay. And we just want to see some good glimpses here. Nice throw into a tight window there. As I said, maybe a check off here where he tells the receiver to run a different route or something or whatever. A couple times, down he checks his progression, pulls it down, takes off, gets through the line of scrimmage, slides, right, picks up the first down, gets the crowd pumped up a little bit or something like you know what I mean. Let's see some good stuff, right? I'm not saying he's got to be 25 out of 30 for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. But something to build off of, something to give us some hope, right? Because my God, that's all. That's all we want. We want some hope going forward. Okay, haven't had a lot to cheer about here lately, right? Can we finally get ourselves a quarterback? That would be so nice, right? That would really be nice. And the nice thing would be is that if the offensive line can work well together, if Thomas gets in there and plays some more snaps, like maybe 40 snaps or 50 snaps this week, maybe a lot more than what he did last week, right? Let's not forget, between Illuminor and Thomas last week, I don't think they gave up any pressures while those two guys were in there. Okay, I'm not talking about Bo, but Thomas. So maybe we can get, but if we can ever get ourselves another dog, somebody else that scares the crap out of the defensive coordinator or something like that, give Dart some weapons to throw the ball to. Yeah. But as I said, don't expect too much from Dart. So I saw this on Yahoo Sports. This is probably, they copy these articles from other things, but history doubts that Giants will beat Chargers in Jaxson Dart's first start. But, right? So how will the league judge whether the rookie quarterback has success? Good question. That 25th overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft is getting an opportunity to start the season isn't a surprise to anyone following the Giants, but Dart's chance to start indefinitely after just 3 weeks of the 2025 season is far less expected. Only 38 days prior, Giants head coach Brian Daboll was throwing Dart into a preseason game mid-series in a move so random that Dart wasn't sure if this was another Daboll joke. Preseason success in 6 regular season snaps, including 1 dropback opportunity, followed, but still in the Giants' 0-3 start, Dart did not throw a football. Now, with the Chargers coming to town, the Giants have benched Russell Wilson in favor of the 22-year-old quarterback. The timing of such a decision has not historically produced immediate success. And it's always a difficult decision, always a difficult decision. We're going to talk about Jameson in just a second here, in just a couple minutes here, but it's a difficult decision. You got possibly a future Hall of Fame quarterback like we did with Kurt Warner, right? And we did with Eli Manning, right? We've got 3 future Hall of Fame quarterbacks in a row. You're pulling them out. You're pulling Kurt Warner out, throw Eli Manning in there. Eli's going to get in. Don't know when, but I'm sure he'll get in sooner or later. You're pulling Eli Manning out to put Daniel Jones in. You're pulling Kurt Warner out to put Jaxson Dart in. Pulling out 3, 1 Hall of Famer, 2 future Hall of Fame quarterback, right? In my eyes, anyway. Out. Putting them on the bench, okay, and putting a rookie quarterback in there who's not going to play, maybe as well as maybe the starters did. And the thing was with Kurt Warner also, we were 5-4 at the one time. We were still in the playoff hunt, and they pulled the plug on the season, right? Well, they're doing it right now with the Giants, right? Got 14 games, whatever we wind up, whatever. If we win 5 games, say we go 5-12, those 14 starts for Dart, if he makes it, knocking on wood, he stays healthy and all that stuff, right? Those 14 starts are going to be so valuable to him, going forward, right? Each snap he takes is going to be, very, very valuable to him. So It's a tough thing. It's always a tough thing. When do you do it? You know, I mean, some of it was a little kind of, I don't want to say kind of comical, because I think a lot of the guys heard that the quarterback, like on social media, that it wasn't like Daboll had the, from what I'm reading, it's like, Daboll didn't have a team meeting. Guys, we're going to change quarterbacks. I know it's tough or difficult. I appreciate everything Russell's done. We're going to go in a different direction here. So, I mean, a lot of guys really like social media. So, starting Dart against an undefeated Chargers team. Rookie quarterbacks have gone 0-4, making their first career start against an undefeated team in week 4 or later since 2000. So, per Next Gen Stats, not there's some of these stats are just that they come up with is just unbelievable. So, starting a rookie quarterback against an undefeated team. Rookie quarterbacks have gone 0-4 since making their first career start against an undefeated team in week 4 or later since 2000. So basically, whatever, like the last 25, 26 seasons. Throwing a rookie quarterback in there against an undefeated team doesn't produce good results. But you know what? Every game is different. The ball bounces different. You might get a different, a bad call here. Bad call, you might get a good call for the Giants here, a good call for the Giants here. The ball might actually bounce, or I mean, just as I said, just think about it like last week, right? I mean, how many of the trillions of things that could have gone the Giants' favor that didn't? Bobby Okereke has the ball in his, I mean, doesn't have it, but he has the ball. The quarterback runs over, knocks the ball out, and recovers it. Are you kidding me? He could have knocked the ball out, and it could have, he could have punched it out, could have bounced off Bobby's knee, gone toward the end zone. The Giant, a Kayvon, a Burnsy, somebody come in, hauling butt, scooped it up, landed in a touchdown, right? Place is going bananas, right? Give us a touchdown there, right? Could be a little bit different ball game, So, if anything would go the Giants' way, it would just be absolute a miracle, right? So every game's different. Every week's different. Every game's different, right? The last quarterback, there you go. There you go, right? But, right, as I just went over, okay, the last quarterback to beat an undefeated team in week 4 later in his rookie debut was Phil Simms when he faced the 5-0 Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 1979. But as I said, okay, Phil Simms was the quarterback. Phil Simms is not the reason why the Giants won. Let me share my screen, okay? Let me show you Phil Simms' stats, okay? Okay. Now the Chargers don't. maybe Daboll is going to look back at Pro Football Reference and look at this game I'm going to show you in a second. This is how you beat an undefeated team, because the Chargers' rushing defense is not very good. Now they haven't given up a lot of yards. That's because they had the lead. And when you have a lead, you dictate what you want to do on offense, but when the other team's behind, it's not like, well, we're down by 35 points. Let's establish no, the other team throws the ball. They don't run the ball. The Chargers give up about 5 yards a carry. So a good running game, maybe the scat man, right? Right? By the way, we're only going to have 2 running backs on the field. Not on the field, but dressed. Turbo Miller's not making it. So we'll go over that in a little bit too. But, maybe we get that running game going. That'd be the biggest help for a quarterback. And also Dart can help himself too by pulling the ball down. If he doesn't see something, if he sees a little bit over, pull it down and take it off too. It's sliding. But let me share my screen here. Let me just show you. Right, the last quarterback was 1979. Okay, so I don't know, whatever, almost 50 years, 47 years ago, right? But let me just show you here. Share your screen. I mean, this is, there we go. All right. This is the game. Share. All right. Okay, here we go. Just so I'm not lying, okay? The Buccaneers going into this game, the Giants were home. The Buccaneers going into this game were 5-0. The Giants were winless, just like we have here. The 0-3 Giants at home versus the 3-0 Chargers. Back then, October 7th, okay, 1979. The 5-0 Buccaneers come to town with a very good defense, right, to play the winless Giants. So the Giants won. Okay, they were up 14-7 at halftime. Jimmy Giles. I always love saying that name. So Billy Taylor had 2 rushing touchdowns, but the Giants up 14-0. Larry Mucker from Doug Williams made it 14-7 at the half. Nothing. There's obviously no scoring in the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, Joe Dinello kicked a 47-yard field goal. Giants up by 10 points, up by 2 scores. Jimmy Giles. I always love saying that name once again. From Doug Williams. Scored a touchdown. 17-14. Okay, that was the final. So, but, I mean, once again here, right? Beach team had 15 first downs. Giants ran the ball 54 times for 202 yards, average about 4 yards a carry. Doug Williams, and we had 3 interceptions, okay? Let's see. Didn't get sacked at all, but he was 14 out of 38, 3 interceptions. Neither team had, the quarterback got a great day throwing the ball, right? The Giants only had 220 net yards. I'll bet you these 3 turnovers were probably pretty costly for the Bucs. So the Giants with 220 total yards wound up scoring 17 points. But let me just go down and show you down here. I mean, Doug Williams, Doug had a heck of an arm, boy. I'll tell you what. He had a heck of an arm. But, I mean, you look down here, right? Phil Simms. He was 6 out of 12 for 37 yards. He completed 6 passes for 37 yards. 6 yards of completion. Sometimes he actually, I guess, dropped back 14 times, right? He got sacked twice. But he had 37 yards passing. He got sacked and lost 19 yards. So basically, he had 18 net passing yards. 18. So the last quarterback, okay, to beat an undefeated team was Phil Simms. But he had 18 net passing yards. So, all right. So, not saying Dart. If Dart has 18 net passing yards after this game's over, we got a huge problem. Huge problem. Okay. So while the Giants will, of course, want to beat the Chargers, they'll need additional metrics to judge Dart's success in his regular season starting debut. Yahoo Sports surveyed coaching and talent evaluator sources in the league to determine what else should drive a fair evaluation, which is true. Coaches and evaluators want to see, will Dart get in and out of the huddle, get a rhythm going, get a rhythm, everything nice and smooth, right? Get in and out of the huddle efficiently enough to avoid delayed game penalties and illegal shifts. Will he see his progressions well, handle a full complement of play calls, and go through his progressions? Which is you don't want him dropping back the pass and he's just, where's Malik at? Oh, Malik's there, okay. All right. Come on, Lee. Come on, baby. I'm throwing it to you, brother. Come on, let's go. And disregarding the other half of the field, or Theo Johnson is running a seam route, it might be wide open, or somebody, Cam out in the flat, right? Dump it off to him, let him run over like 4 or 5 guys and pick up 5, 10. Right? Can he go through his progressions? Right? Go to each progression as best he can. If there's nothing there, pull it down and take off. Right? If he's hanging in there, making good throws against pressure, and has good vibe to him and an energy that guys feed off of and believe in, that will say a lot about what his teammates think of him. One NFC offensive assistant told Yahoo Sports. Dart echoed similar sentiments in his first media conference as the Giants' named starter. I think the biggest thing for me, I want to do my best to be a spark, Dart said. I want to create excitement on the field. I want to be explosive when opportunities are there. To try just bring a little bit of swagger. Why debut success for Jaxson Dart doesn't require he light the world on fire. Considering reasonable metrics for Dart this week, the NFC offensive assistant pegged an ironic comparison. Justin Herbert, whose Chargers Dart face. As a sixth overall pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Chargers won just 6 of his 15 games that Herbert started as a rookie, even as he tossed 31 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. That is freaking unbelievable. 31 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. Holy cow. Quarterback's ability was evident in an offensive rookie of the year season, even as the Chargers did not always power his strengths to wins. Chargers saw something more than just his numbers. With Herbert, you could tell he had the arm, the toughness, ripping NFL throws, the NFC assistant told Yahoo Sports. Not rattled by anything, was able to move his team down the field from the jump. Defenses had to defend the whole field. If Dart earns a similar scouting report in the coming weeks, the Giants should consider their decision a success. Dart's preseason results exceeded external expectations. The Ole Miss product completed 68% of his passes, although, against backups, so you always got to keep that in mind, right? He had 372 yards passed and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He complemented his 113.1 passer rating with another 52 yards rushing and a touchdown on 6 carries. Underrated key to Dart's success, staying on the field. An NFC talent evaluator drilled down further on what strong decision-making and composed football might look like. This isn't about showing off an arm, as a 2025 first overall draft pick Cam Ward did on a precarious, albeit highlight reel-worthy touchdown in Week 2 versus the Rams. That was a heck of a throw. Plays like that invite heavy risk amid the possibility of reward in an exciting but not sustainable formula to win. Instead, the NFC talent evaluator wants to see Dart stay on the field. Offense, stay on the field, right? Not being flustered, being able to sustain long drives and having passing success, the evaluator told Yahoo Sports. That battle could be uphill for a Giants team that ranks second to worst in third down conversions. I mean, last week we were 1 for 10. And we were 1 for 4 because we didn't have a kicker for the most part, right? So I think in third and fourth downs last week, we were 2 out of 14. Completing just 20% of the third down attempts through 3 weeks. They're completing 20% of their third down attempts through 3 weeks. 20, but you want that at least doubled, at least. Against the Chiefs last week, and the Giants converted just one of 10 third down tries, and I think they were 1 for 4 on fourth down. On 5 drives versus the Chiefs, New York failed to stay on the field for more than 5 plays. I mean, the result of each of those series: punt, interception, punt, and turnover on downs. Giants have ranked 27th in points per game and 31st in offensive success rate per next-gen stats. They need the spark that Dart seeks to bring in the end zone and in sustaining drives to wear down defenses and give their own defense teammates a breather, which is so important. Your defense can't give up passing yards. Your defense can't give up rushing yards. Your defense doesn't give up points if they're on the sideline drinking Kool-Aid. Right? And you want to wear the other team down. And one of the best things, obviously, too, is to wear the other team down, wear their defense down, get a running game going. I mean, obviously, it's so easy to say, just get the running game going, baby. We got a W coming. I get it. It's not, you just say that, and I understand. I get it, And it's very, very, very difficult, because in the beginning, a lot of times, in the first quarter, it's a 2-yard gain. It's a 3-yard gain. It's a 2-yard gain. It's another 2-yard gain. You're like, what the are we doing? We're trying to establish the run with a 2-yard gain, and then you run the ball a couple times. Maybe you pick up 4 yards, and you're like, what are we doing? Why are we 3rd and 6? You know what I mean? Then maybe you complete the pass, maybe, But in the second quarter, now it's a 2 or 3 yard gain, maybe a 4-yard gain, right? And what are we doing? Why are we picking up 3 yards? Why are we're trying to 3 yard? Are you kidding? Third quarter, right? It's a 4 or 5 yard gain. right? 4 or 5, 5 or 6, 5. I mean, wearing them down, wearing them down, wearing them down. And by the time that, the second half of the third quarter, the fourth quarter rolls around, some of those holes start getting a little bit bigger. Some of the defense is kind of, that's what you want. It's not, we don't have that kind of hop. We got the running back for it. We don't have the greatest offensive line in football, right? So it helps to be able to wear them down, but you got to stick with the running game, right? But to be able to stick with the running game, you need to be in the game, right? You can't be the Giants are down 27-3 halfway through the third quarter. Well, let's keep that running game going. We'll wear them down. I mean, you gotta throw the ball then, right? So it's not all that easy, right? Daboll and general manager Joe Schoen need darts spark acutely too. Giants team owner John Brown made it clear the Giants must produce results in 2025 for Daboll and Schoen to last to 2026. Well, we'll have to wait. I mean, they're not tied together. Mr. Mara's got to sit down and think, okay, we sucked again in 2025. Oh no, we suck again, right? Did Shane and Brandon Brown and company, all that, did they supply enough talent to the coaches for us to be a better team than what we did? And the answer is yes. Well, maybe Shane and company, or maybe they stay and Daboll and everybody else goes bye-bye, right? So it's not like, well, we didn't produce a lot of wins, so we were just going to fire everybody, I mean, you can see maybe quite possibly once again, we might have had another very good draft class, right? Last couple, I mean, the first one, maybe, the second one wasn't, but I mean, the last couple draft classes might have been pretty good. So if we can keep the pipeline going with some good draft picks, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean if we have a bad season that Shane's gone, right? The Brain Trust valued Dart's athleticism, anticipation, and a caliber of arm strength that they believe could handle northeast weather patterns. They coveted his competitive fire that matched the energy that Daboll brings. Daboll said repeatedly this week that starting Dart so soon was his decision. He knew in saying it would further tie his fate to that of Dart. He just needs to go out there and do his job, Daboll said. Just make good decisions, throw the ball where he needs to throw it, make loose plays. If he needs to make the loose plays, take care of it. He doesn't have to do any more than that. There will be a lot of things to learn from. I've done this once before. It's not perfect, but I know he's going to do everything he can to get ready to play this game, and that's all he can ask for. So, we'll have to wait and see. Just give us some hope. Give us some hope. Right? I mean, we've had very little to cheer for over the past however many years. Don't want to rehash them out, but, if we can maybe see our quarterback, right? I mean, that right? Because we got a lot of young guys. We do have a lot of young, especially the running back, the tight end, the receivers. Darius is get a little bit up there, but I would like to see if we can get another younger stud in the draft maybe next year, because we don't have a ton of money next year, and to get a really good wide receiver is going to be expensive. It's just the going rate. But if we can get ourselves another stud of a wide receiver, another real weapon to have Dart throw the ball to, that would be, whether it's a tight end, whether it's a Brock Bowers, something like that, or whether it's another dog of a wide receiver. I would love to see us get another weapon because it looks like we might have ourselves a running back, right, between Tracy, okay, and Cam, right. I like Theo, I like Bellinger and all, but I don't have to wait and see. Theo was coming on last year, then he got hurt. Beginning of the season last year I think he had 4 catches after the first 3 games or something like that. It was like, So maybe he'll start coming on again. We'll have to wait and see. But we could really use another weapon out there because you'll notice what Kansas City did. They put like basically half their defense on Malik Neighbors, right? They had like a cornerback carrying them, right? Another safety over the top, right? And then in whatever side Malik was on, they had like maybe one of the linebackers kind of shaded over to that side too, like maybe he was going to cut in or something or whatever. So they had like half the defense. Okay, we're going to put 9 of the 11 guys on Malik Neighbors. The other 2, you guys are responsible for, But if you got another guy on the other side, that's, it's not that easy. Oh, just go get another Malik Neighbors. I get it. But if you get somebody else, that's kind of close to him, okay, on the other side, well, it's a little bit difficult to do that, right? Because if they're going to put a cornerback to cover this guy too and a safety over top and shade another linebacker, there's going to be nobody in the middle of the field, right? So they can only really do it to like one guy. So we could really use another weapon. But let's see if Dark Boy just give us some sparks here, something, a few good throws here, or just something, something to cheer for this season. I mean, is that too much to ask for? Now, of course, this was always a difficult thing, right? Always really difficult to come up. Difficult time. When are you going to put the rookie in there? Are you disrespecting anybody, right? By pulling, Russell Wilson out. Wasn't always Russell Wilson's fault that we lost both those games, this, that, and the other thing. But then, of course, then you got, right, Jameson Winston here too. Right? Now, why wasn't he maybe given an opportunity, right? What I would have liked to have seen, but of course we didn't know it at the time. Because all we had after last season, we had Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan, good third string quarterback, right? He showed this would be his third season, I believe, with Daboll, right? He knows the system. He's shown even in the bright lights, right, that he can win some football games. He's shown that. So if he's the third string quarterback, I ain't got no problem with that, right? It's just a shame because we got Jameson Winston, and I was fine with that because we're not going anywhere this year. I did not have Super Bowl aspirations. Jameson can throw the ball, right? He'll throw you in a game. He'll also throw you out of a game, but he'll throw the ball, okay? He'll throw touchdowns. He'll gain you yards. He'll throw some interceptions too. It is what it is, but he makes some stuff exciting, right? I have a hard time believing we go in there and play the Commanders and only score 6 points with Jameson Winston throwing the ball. Now, you might have thrown a pick six or interception or two that maybe led to some points for the Commanders, but I feel better that we probably would move the ball more with Jameson in there than we did with Russell. And now Russell did a better job of handling the ball, maybe not throwing interception or anything like that, than Jameson. But I was happy when we picked up Jameson. I said that it's not like all we need is a quarterback, and we got Jameson Winston. It's like, he's good, but he can also be bad too. I mean, throwing all his interceptions. The 1 year, I think he had 33 touchdown passes, but he had 30. It's not easy throwing 30 interceptions. That was also the year he also threw for over 5,000 yards. Now, that ain't easy to do either. So, I mean, the guys can throw the ball, but he can throw it to your team. He can also throw it to the other team, too. But I was very happy because I said we didn't have Super Bowl aspirations this year. Let's build the roster a little bit more, and let's see if we can get our quarterback. You didn't know if we were going to get the quarterback in the draft or not. So then we got Russell Wilson. Then we got Dart. Now, I said, to me, in a perfect world would have been, if we could have got Jameson Winston, and we had Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan, and then the draft would have came around, we could have got Dart, and then, we probably wouldn't have needed Russell Wilson because maybe Jameson could have started, and had Dart as number 2, and Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan would have been 3. Then we would have saved the money that we spent for Russell Wilson, but it is what it is. It's tough, especially also because after 3 games, you got 14 games left in the season. To some extent, you're like, guys, season's over. I mean, right? All hard work you done. I know you guys want to win. Blah, 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 blah. We brought some free agents in, had a good draft class, blah, 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 all that. But this season, forget about it. You know what I mean? It's not like after 12 games, we were 3-9. Guys, we're 3-9. Even if we win the last 5 games, right, we're going to be 8-9. We're not making the playoffs. So we're going to pull the plug, right? We're going to put Jaxson in there for the final 5 games of a lost season. Okay, and we'll see where we go from there. Now, we got 14 games left to go in the season here. And you're basically, boop, got to pull. Now, hey, if Jaxson takes us to the promised land, and we wind up winning, we wind up going 10-4 in our final 14. Sign me up for that, but I can't see that happen, especially with the schedule we got. Can't see that happening. So it's always a tricky thing, especially to tell the vets and all of that, right? And I said the one thing I was a little worried is that it seemed like a lot of these guys kind of found out like people were texting them, hey. They didn't hear from like Daboll. Yeah, guys, we're going to sit Russell Wilson and we're going to start Jack. I mean, he didn't have a meeting or nothing like that. It sounded like some of the people were getting texted from like relatives. Yo, you know what I saw on Facebook? Jaxson Dart is starting. And some of the Giant players are like, really? So that's not, to me, that's, could have been handled a little bit better. But some of the guys were a little ticked off that didn't sit well, shall we say, right? Jaxson Dart, the changing of quarterbacks didn't sit well with some of the Giant players. The reaction to promoting 2025 NFL Draft first-round pick Jaxson Dart to starting quarterback hasn't been entirely what the Giants expected. Not when some players aren't happy about one aspect of the decision. It's the word from Dan Dugan of The Athletic, who described an interesting vibe in the locker room this week. Players like Jaxson Dart, but they like him. They like Jaxson Dart. But I didn't get the sense the quarterback change is being viewed as some kind of rallying cry. Well, it's not as a rallying cry. It's they're trying to say, if they got their starting quarterback in the future. The theme from a number of players is that it's a business and you can never be surprised about anything, which is true. It's business. It's a beautiful sport. It's the true team sport, right? I mean, unlike basketball, we have one guy who takes 40% of the shots and all that. You have one good player in your team. You can maybe not win a championship, but you can go pretty far. Hockey and stuff. Hockey only got 5 guys on the ice plus the goalie. So this is special teams, offense, defense. This is the true team sport right here. Let's see. More significant is the note from Dugan about how it didn't sit well with players that news broke on social media during their off day on Tuesday. Yeah, that's something I'm not. I mean, I ain't the coach. Ain't never going to be a coach, right? But if I'm doing something like that, I'm waiting for guys to come in Wednesday or whatever. The news breaks. It's going to be broken to the guys. I'm talking to the quarterback about it first or whatever, and then we're going to go have a team meeting, right? I'm breaking it to the guys, right? Some of the guys were getting texts from family and friends informing them of the quarterback change. I mean, that's pretty freaking silly to me. Dugan also revealed one player said the coaches obviously knew the change was coming Monday, so it could have been announced in a team meeting then. Right? Others said they could have waited until Wednesday to announce it, which is true. There's a double whammy of disappointment for head coach Brian Daboll. He's desperately hoping replacing Wilson with Dart will provide a spark on the field and lift spirits off of it. Yet it seems as though incumbent Giants players are unmoved by their coach's decisive action. Worse still, Daboll may have alienated key sections of the locker room with how he handled the switch. Giants' handling of the quarterback's situation is questioned. Dugan's report about players not liking how they learned about Dart's promotion fits with the reactions already expressed by some senior figures. They include wide receiver Wan'Dale Robinson and Sexy Dexy. Slot receiver Robinson revealed he wasn't made aware of the change at football's most important position before it was announced. That sounded a strange note since Robinson will be among those catching passes from Dart and therefore is set to have a direct impact on the young signal caller's development. I mean, to not have, something like this, to not tell your players, to have them getting text messages from family and friends is really, to me, is really ridiculous. But once again, to me, it just goes to show you that, the coaching. It just, the thought process, and it's not there. It's not there. He means well and this stuff and everything and all, but I'm lumping Daboll in there now with McAdoo, Shermer, Judge, and Daboll. It's like the Fab Four, right? They're all, throw all four names in a hat, right? Pick one of the names out and read the name, and you'll be disappointed, right? All of them were very good minds. Make no mistake about it. But certain, right? McAdoo was very good offensive mind. Shermer was very good very good at calling plays. Daboll might be good with quarterback development and the offensive play calling and stuff like that. No, but he's just not a good he's not a good head coach. Same thing with Judge. Judge did a very good job, and he's been around for a while. Had a lot of winning organizations and all of that, right? He went from one winning organization to another. Spent a lot of time with New England under Belichick, and also very, very smart and all of that, but just not a good head coach, right? And this move to me is just kind of, it's that, but it's also, what you're doing to Wilson and Jameis, right? To me, it's just not a very good move. Let's see. That much was confirmed by Dan Dugan's colleague Diana Rossini, who revealed this was his decision for better or worse. Giants ownership doesn't typically force these kinds of moves, and I'm told they didn't this time either. It wasn't GM Joe Shane's mandate. The call belonged entirely to Daboll, and he wants everyone to know it. Rossini also included a note that some raised objections, but Daboll got his way. Fortunately for the coach, who's won just 9 games in the past 2 seasons, those most closely connected to Dart are already backing Daboll's call. So, now, according to this little article here, it just goes to show you how classy, right, the quarterbacks are. Russell Wilson and Jameson Winston, 2 class act, to me, human beings, right? 2 guys that you want. Now, they may not agree with it or like it or whatever, but that's those guys. I just, to have them there, I think it's very, very special. Very, very special, right? For this work, Dart will need the support of the experienced passers around him in the Giants quarterback room. Thankfully, he already has veteran backups Wilson and Jameson Winston on board. Winston has been taken to a new role dedicated to helping Dart prepare for his first start. Meanwhile, Wilson's made it clear he intends to resist a trade to stick around and play mentor. Okay, we'll have to wait and see. The voices of Wilson and Winston will be vital in helping Dart get to his drips with being a starter at the pro level. He'll need to help against a tough and resourceful Chargers defense in Week 4. It's already a must-win matchup for the Giants. Well, good luck there. So Daboll will be counting on having all players united around a new quarterback one. If not, he'll surely regret how he made the decision set to define Big Blue's season and his future. So, it's always a tough thing. It's always a tricky thing, right? 1979, let me just once again here, the Giants team just 79 when they put Phil Simms in there. It was just, it was Giants are a horrible team. Horrible team. Let me see who the quarterbacks were. We had Joe Pisarcik, Phil Simms, Randy Dean, right? I mean, oh my God. I mean, Phil Simms was 6-5 his rookie season. Pisarcik was 0-4. Randy Dean was 0-1. Right. Phil Simms wound up completing 50% of his passes, threw 13 touchdowns and 14 interceptions. Right. But we had a crappy team, horrible team. Our offense was absolute trash. 1979. What did we average points per game? We averaged 14.8 points per game. We averaged 15 points a game. We were 27th out of 28 teams in 1979 when Phil Simms went in there. So, but it's always a tricky thing. I mean, it's especially, I said, when you have two veterans. I said, like, even Jameson Winston. Yeah, did we get? Did he get a chance at all or anything? I mean, anything? Yeah, I mean, put him in there. Maybe he might be a spark or something. But unfortunately, it's just that we brought Jameson in, and looks like he's just going to be a forgotten man. I mean, on the sideline. Right? Interesting. Right? I hope it don't happen. Right? But if whatever, say Dart has a real rough outing, or God forbid he gets a little nicked up or something, has to come out. Who goes in? Does Wilson go in, or does Winston go in? Right? I mean, I'd love to see Winston in there. I just have him just throwing a freaking ball, throws an interception. Who the frick cares? Good. Throw an interception, and we'll get the ball back. Throw it again. You know what I mean? Right? So I feel bad for Jameson. He just seems like the dude is freaking amazing. Absolutely amazing. Right? I feel bad for him to bring him in here, and yeah, but it is what it is. There's always a tricky situation. Always a tricky situation. I said especially. 3 games into the season, and you're almost saying, guys, it's over. You know what I mean? So it's a shame because, you know, it's so important to get the quarterback, get him his snaps, and get his experience and all of that, that you're willing to basically write off a whole season to come back maybe next year, maybe you'd be a better team. And you're writing off another season for Sexy Dexy. Guy ain't getting any younger. You're writing off another season of Andrew Thomas. We have one of our greatest left tackles of all time. I'm gonna have to. It's tough. Just me thinking. There's Sexy Dexy and there's Arnie Weinmeister, who played 4 seasons for the Giants from 1950 to 53. Those are the 2 guys I can think of as far as defensive tackle as disruptive. Right. Arnie Weinmeister played only 4 seasons in the NFL, and he's in the Hall of Fame, so he was pretty good. Number 53, I think he was. So he was really good. 70 years ago. But yes, I mean, you're wasting another season of Sexy. The guy's not keep going like this. Somewhere along the line, he's going to start leveling off and start coming down. You know, the guy's not going to play forever, and you're wasting another one of his seasons. So let's hope, right, that possibly pulling the plug on a season, we get rewarded. Hopefully, maybe next season and going forward, maybe, right? Because let's not forget, right? Phil Simms now, of course, he's 79. 2 seasons later, we were in the playoffs. 95% because of Lawrence Taylor. Okay, but Phil Simms' rookie season, 79. 2 seasons later, we were in the playoffs. Right. Eli Manning, right? Horrible in 2004, right? The next season, we were in the playoffs. Okay. Took Daniel Jones, what? Was it 19, 20, 21? Took him, his rookie season, and took him 3 seasons. So, you know, it can happen. It certainly can happen. Right? Eli Manning was the next season. Took Phil Simms after his rookie season. Took him 2 seasons. And after Daniel Jones' rookie season, took him 3 seasons. So it can happen right afterwards. You know, could help to have some good coaching as well, too. But we'll have to wait and see. So let's hope. Let's hope. Right? He gives us something to get excited about. Now, this one here, we got just a few roster moves. Not a ton. But the one question, right, was you know, we brought Koo in, Young Ho Koo, right? Who, I mean, incidentally, grew up around MetLife Stadium, right? Went to high school there, grew up around there, and also he's like coming home. Okay, so we brought him in. They had a little kicking competition going on, and they elevated Jude McAtee, right, for this game. Okay, we're going to talk about but so Jude, I guess Jude must have won. So I guess maybe each week they'll have some type of kicking competition going on, or we'll have to wait and see. But the Giants did have some roster moves going on there. Let's see. So they made a decision at kicker, right? The Giants made several moves. Right? A series of Giants roster moves heading into Sunday's interconference clash with the Chargers is headlined by the placement kicker of Graham Gano going on injured reserve. Gano will be replaced by Jude McAtee, one of 4 practice squad promotions the Giants announced on Saturday, next to those linebackers Toman Fox, because we need linebackers, right? Neville Hewitt, as well as defensive lineman Elijah Garcia. Now Elijah's been, Elijah actually got signed to the 53 because he's been brought up so many times. The Giants' kicking situation had to be addressed after Graham Gano injury. Gano tweaked his groin in pregame warmups and hindered Big Blue's offensive progress in its home opener, entering only in the second half to boot a short 25-yard field goal. An extra point kicker kicked by punter Jamie Gillen couldn't give the Giants a first half lead, but the would-be go-ahead single point was blocked. This is the 3rd consecutive season to be affected by Gano's injuries. Hamstring woes limited him to 10 appearances last time around. Rutgers alumni McAtee will make his second career NFL appearance, previously earning a 31-yard field goal and an extra point in the Giants' 27-22 loss to the Commanders last season. McAtee was victorious in a practice squad battle with Young Ho Koo as the 2020 Pro Bowler joined the Giants earlier this week. In other roster news, Toman Fox, and Elijah Garcia are back in action for the Giants, while Hewitt is making his blue debut. The former were promoted via free agency signings. Fox has been on and off the Giants roster at various points since entering the league as an undrafted free agent out of North Carolina in 2022, and he played 33 snaps in Sunday's visit with the Chiefs. Garcia is also back on the active roster, having previously earned a sack of Dak Prescott in the Giants' Week 2 loss against the Cowboys. Earning a standard practice squad promotion is Hewitt, who makes his second straight appearance as a standard practice squad elevation. Set to enter his 11th year in the NFL service, Hewitt spent the last 4 years with the Houston Texans in what was primarily a special teams role, but put up 59 tackles, 3 pass breakups, and 2 forced fumbles and extended defensive work last season. What do we got here? All right. So the Giants, it goes to show you how weird things are. Giants earlier this week waived Toman Fox, got him back on the practice squad, and now we elevate him to the 53. So Fox, 6'2", 245 pounds, originally signed with the Giants as an undrafted rookie free agent out of North Carolina following the 2022 NFL draft. He's bounced around from the practice squad to the active roster over his 4-year career, appearing in 29 games with 1 start. Fox, who's 27, has recorded 39 tackles, 4 quarterback hits, and 2 sacks. In Week 3 loss to the Chiefs, Fox took 14 defensive snaps and 19 special team snaps, but didn't register in the box score. The Giants will likely return Fox to their practice squad if he clears waivers, which he did, and then they signed him to the 53. Because let's not forget, the Giants, are weak on linebacker, right? Thin on linebacker. Now, Muasau, apparently, they cleared the concussion protocol, so that's helpful. Right. But Flanagan fouls, Muasau, and Micah McFadden all off ball, inside line, middle line, or whatever you want to call them, right? In the first couple of weeks, all got injured. So certainly wasn't helping the Giants defense out at all. Right. So now the Giants, right, so get the injury report. So we did, obviously, McAtaney is the one that, all right, so I have to keep it on. So hopefully he does well. Let's see if he keeps the job, right? But Giants and the Chargers. The Chargers have a few guys as well, too. They got a few guys dinged up as well. So it's not all sunshine and roses over there as well for the Chargers. Now, some of their offensive linemen are a little dinged up as well, too. So, right. But, of course, Giants, right? I'm talking Giants, right? Giants always got their injuries. So let me see if I can show the here. Oh, there we go. All right. There we go. This one here. Giants versus the Chargers. Injury report. Okay. Sorry. So we got Graham Gano. All right. He's out. Placed on IR, right? With his groin. Chauncey Golston, once again, out with an ankle. Did not participate in practice. Tyrone Tracy Jr., obviously, he's out with his shoulder, right? He did not participate in practice either. And he's not having exactly a banner year. He's averaging basically 3 yards a carry, right? He's got 13 targets, got 8 receptions for 54 yards. So in 3 games, now he did get injured, last week, but he has like 122 yards total offense. So, right. Now, of course, Nacho, he's still doubtful, right, with his foot. He's been limited in participation in practice, but so he's doubtful, right? But, right, Neighbors with his shoulder, right, he should be good to go. He's limited in practice, but he should be good to go. Aaron Stinney, he had a personal. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, him and his wife, they had a baby. So that's why, he was limited, right? Theo Johnson with his toe. Bo Collins with a hamstring. Andrew Thomas, of course, he'll probably be on the list almost every week for the rest of the season, right? Nursing his foot, okay? Darius Slayton with a calf. John Michael Schmitz with his neck. Darius Muirset with a concussion. Art Green with a hip, right? And Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles with a calf. So we had a lot of guys, on the report here, but they all look like they should be good to go, right? So we got what? Between neighbor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We got 10 guys that are a little nicked up, right, on the injury report, but should be good to go come game time. So that's good. Let's see. Then I got another one here. Let me see. I'm sharing my screen here, and I got one that shows the Chargers. Once again, they got a few guys injured as well too. They got a lot of guys who are on the injury report, but for the most part, looks like most of their guys will play. But they do have a few guys who are out. Okay. Well, stupid ads. All right, here we go. So Mekhi Becton, he's out. Okay. Disley, the tight end, he's out. Darius Davis, wide receiver, he's out. Okay. Bozeman, the center, he's questionable with a back. Now, I mean, God bless him. I mean, he's got to go in there and go up against Sexy Dexy every play. So God bless him. If he's got a problem with his back, his back's going to be even more sore by the time he's going up against Sexy. I can guarantee you that. So he's got a long game in front of him if he does wind up playing. And Elijah Molden, defensive back, he's questionable with a hamstring. Okay. But they do have 3 guys who are out. Okay. As I say, including Mekhi Becton, one of their guards. All right. Then they got a bunch of guys here, right? Got Pipkins, offensive tackle with a knee. That's not going to help him much either with a knee, right? Then the long snapper, he had a personal day. Dante Jackson, the cornerback, has an ankle. Cam Hart with a hip, another cornerback. Deshaun Hand, the defensive lineman, he's got issue with his back, right? So, they got some guys that are banged up as well too. Okay, but so both teams are a little bit nicked up, right? But they said the Chargers, a couple of the guys on the offensive line, so The Giants got to get some pressure. Got to get some pressure.
Hey, New York Giants huddle up around the roster.
Oh, you know what that is? That's I click on this, and this is the recording, the radio recording, which is it's a bit weird. I click on this of the 1971 game between the Giants and the Chargers at Yankee Stadium. The Giants won. I think it was 35-17. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken. So let me click on this again here.
Line, they're wearing their blue jerseys, white pants, blue helmets, and the San Diego Chargers in white uniforms with gold pants.
This is the picture of
blue
this
and gold
Spiral picking off a pass.
They're in white. They're going back towards the closed end of Yankee Stadium to receive the kickoff. Deep back there are Jerry Levias and Bryant Salter. Levias, one of the most elusive wide receivers in the NFL.
And it goes away. Weird. But that was the actual radio broadcast from the 1971 game. Those Giants only won 4 games that whole season. I mean, it was a horrible season, but that was one of their wins, was against the Chargers that year, right? But it's going to be a tough. I mean, Herbert can make all the throws. It's good wide receivers, really good wide receivers. They really could use to get some pressure on them. Right. Not only that, but the Chargers, their defense is very good as well, too. Some of it also, everything's the theory, everything's relative, right? If you got a good offense and they're on the field moving the ball, chewing up the clock, your defense is on the sideline, not giving up any points or yardage, so it makes them look better. So, I got a great defense. Well, yeah, no. And I mean, if they don't give up any points if they're on the sideline. They don't give up any rushing yards or any passing yards if they're on the sideline, right? So, but the Chargers are very well coached, unlike the Giants, right? They're phenomenal. Really, the quarterback is just fantastic. All right, so we got a bunch of things here. 10 things to watch for here. Obviously, with Jaxson Dart's first start. Right. The all-time series, the Giants will host the Chargers, right? This will be the 14th meeting between the two teams. The Giants are trailing in the series 5-8. Now, the Giants did have in the series going head-to-head. The Giants won, I think it was 5 of the first 8 games. The Giants won the first 2, then they lost the next 2, then they won 3 of the next 4. So the Giants at one time had the first 8 games of this series between the two, right? Between the Chargers and the Giants actually had a 5-3 lead. Okay. The Giants, shocking, have literally sucked over the past 10 plus seasons. So the Chargers have won the last 5 games. And one of the other things too, which is a bit funny, ironic, whatever you want to call it, right, is that the Giants had Phillip Rivers in their possession. They traded Phillip Rivers to Eli Manning, right? So they basically swapped teams. Well, it's kind of funny because how many times was it? 3 or 4? Let's take a look here. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Yeah, the 4 times that Eli Manning was it? Well, it's tough. Was Phillip Rivers playing with them? Oh, boxer, let's say. Trying to see if Phillip Rivers was the Chargers starting quarterback. Nope, he wasn't. The Giants faced the Chargers in 2005. Well, Phillip Rivers was on the Chargers then, but Drew Brees was the starting quarterback for the Chargers. But in 2009, 2013, 2017, Eli Manning and Phillip Rivers went head-to-head, right? Giants-Chargers head-to-head. We lost every time. We couldn't. Eli Manning couldn't beat Phillip Rivers, but we traded Phillip Rivers to get Eli Manning. So go figure. But we got 2 Super Bowls out of it. So, but the Chargers won the last 5 meetings between these 2 teams. So, the last time was in 2021. I mean, that was an absolute freaking embarrassment. Absolute, just Total embarrassment. Shocking, I know. All right, let's see here. We got it. All right, then we got the teams last met week 14 of 2021 season in Los Angeles when the Giants lost. Right? I mean, that was just horrible, absolute horrible freaking game. All right, so the Giants, obviously, Graham Gano is out, Tracy's out, Chauncey Golston's out, Nacho is doubtful. Chargers, Mekhi Becton, Darius Davis, and Will Dissly, they're all out. Questionable Bradley Bozeman and Elijah Molden, they're both questionable. Scat continuing to improve. Right, give the ball to him. That nothing's going to help a rookie quarterback more than a good running game. Give the ball to Scat, man. Right, either give it to him or dump it off to him. Let him do his thing. Right. So a shoulder injury to Tyrone Tracy led to Cam Scatterbo seeing the most action of his young NFL career in week 3. Now, don't forget, we only got 2 running backs. We don't have 3. We only got 2 running backs this week. So we got Cam and we got Motor Singletary. So Daboll said Cam's done a nice job. There will be things that he goes through as a young player, but he's continuing to improve. And that's what you want out of your young players. Guys like him and Abdul Carter, and now we're getting Jackson ready to go. It's a good young group of guys to work with. Absolutely. Absolutely. And let's not forget also, I mean, once again, this is just week 3, small sample size and all that stuff and everything. But if you go, I did a video on it last time. Cam Scatterbo was the number 1 rated according to PFF just after 3 weeks. It's only small sample size, but he's the number 1 ranked running back in all football. Right, and I absolutely love saying this. Right, he's the number 1. Once again, small sample size, all that stuff, but he's the number 1 ranked running back in all football, according to PFF. Saquon Barkley, who the Eagles just paid $20 million for 2 years, 41 million, basically with $36 million guaranteed. So basically, they're guaranteeing him $18 million a season. Right. He's averaging 3.3 yards a carry, and he's like 75th ranked overall. So Cam's making $1.3 million. Saquon's making $20.3 million. Saquon's making like $19 million more per season than Cam is, and Cam's ranked number 1 according to PFF. Previously mentioned, the Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert went into week 4 as the NFL's leading passer with 860 yards through the air. Herbert has elevated his game this season with a 105.5 passer rating, 6-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. But the play of his top 3 wide receivers has been a significant factor in the signal caller's early success. So you got Ladd McConkey, Keenan Allen, and Quentin Johnston. Allen currently leads the team with 19 receptions for 194 yards. Johnson is a team-high 239 receiving yards, only on 14 receptions. He's their deep threat. Those 2 wideouts are tied for a team-leading 3 touchdowns apiece, while McConkey, the number 34 overall pick in last year's draft, has 15 receptions for 163 yards. So you got 1 receiver has 19 receptions, 1 has 15, and 1 has 14. That's some really good distribution between the 3, right? Let's see. Now it's going to be interesting because probably Burns is going to be over Joe Alt, their offensive tackle, right? Burns enters week 4 in a 3-way tie for second most sacks in the NFL with 4 to go with his 13 total pressures. He has registered at least 1 sack in each of the first 3 games, but faces his toughest challenge yet this weekend. Joe Alt has allowed a pressure on just 6.3% of his pass blocks this season, according to Next Gen Stats, which is the 4th lowest rate among left tackles with 50 or more pass blocking stats. Now, whoever's on the other side, if that's Kayvon, you better get some freaking pressure. You better win, and you better get some pressure. And it would be nice to see a sack or 2, right? All right, let's see here. We got now. Let's see here. Of course, the Chargers are 3-0 for the first time since the 2002 season. having already defeated all three of their AFC West foes by a combined score of 70-50. So, I mean, they beat the Broncos, they beat the Chiefs, and they beat the Raiders. It's the first time they have started 3-0 against their division since 1996. The Chargers have not won the AFC West since 2009, their longest drought in franchise history. Under Jim Harbaugh, who took over as head coach last season, the Chargers have won 6 consecutive regular season games, the longest active streak in the NFL entering Week 4. See, coaching got a lot to do with it. Coaching. They have a coach. We do not. Giants, meanwhile, are still in search of their first win this season. After opening their 101st campaign with back-to-back road games in the NFC East, they went into a 2-game homestand against the AFC West. They fell to the Chiefs to fall to 0-3 on the season. The Giants are 8-8 against AFC opponents under Brian Daboll, who previously spent his entire NFL coaching career in that conference. So now when the Giants have the ball, the news of the week obviously was changing to Jaxson Dart as the quarterback. Dart is the 4th rookie quarterback selected in round 1 to start for the Giants in the common draft era. Phil Simms, Eli Manning, and Daniel Jones. According to NFL research, the Ole Miss product becomes the first quarterback since Teddy Bridgewater in 2014 to be drafted in the second half of the first round and start a game within the first 4 weeks of his rookie season. Quarterbacks are 2-2 in such starts since 2000. The first test will be a hard one. The Chargers only lost 17.6 points per game since the start of the 2024 season, the best in the NFL. Once again, coaching. I'll bet you if you line our guys up against their guys on defense, our guys are at least as good as those guys on their defense. And we'll give up more points per game because we don't have an offense either. But coaching. Let's see. Now, this is this one here. Including his first NFL head coaching stint with the 49ers, rookie quarterbacks are 2-8 against Harbaugh. In a twist of fate, one of those wins came from Wilson in 2012 with the Seahawks. The Chargers boast 12 games with fewer than 20 points allowed since 2024, tied for the most in the NFL. So this will probably be another one. I hope we get more than 20 points. But we'll have to wait and see. Chargers enter Sunday with the number 1 red zone defense, which is the Giants have like the absolute worst red zone offense. But we have to do it now. We have a different quarterback. Let's see. The Giants have scored a touchdown just 20% of their trips inside the 20-yard line. All-pro safety Derwin James Jr. had a career-high 4 tackles for loss last week. The guy's amazing. He was one of just 5 players in the NFL last season and the only defensive back to have at least 70 tackles, 5 sacks, an interception, and 5 passes defensed. Malik Neighbors was held to a career lows in receptions, 2 in receiving yards, 13 in week 3. I mean, I don't know how we could not find ways to get the guy the ball. It's like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Your best offensive player. They're covering him. I don't know what we do. I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Oh my God. In the last time out, rookie running back Cam Scatterbo led the Giants in rushing with 10 carries for 60 yards and a touchdown, receiving 6 catches for 61 yards after Tyrone Tracy went down with a shoulder injury. The 4th-round pick from Arizona State became the 8th rookie in franchise history to produce 60-plus receiving yards and 60-plus rushing yards in the same game. He also forced 7 missed tackles along the way, according to Next Gen Stats, and racked up 58 yards after catch. Wow. Scatterbo now ranks 5th among NFL rookies in yards from scrimmage entering week 4. The other 4 were all drafted 3 rounds ahead of him, including Chargers Marion Hampton. Yeah. Let's see here. McMillan, wide receiver McMillan from Carolina, has 216 yards. Marion Hampton has 215 yards. Tyler Warren, a tight end from these are all rookies who have more yards, offensive yards than Cam. But Cam the first couple of weeks was like an afterthought. I mean, Tyrone Tracy was a starter. He was the backup. He did not get a lot of action. Right. Tyler Warren has 196 yards from scrimmage. Ibuke, wide receiver from Tampa Bay, has 190. Cam Scadaboo has 189 yards. He has 102 yards rushing, 87 yards receiving. But all four of those guys I just named in front of Cam were all picked in the first round. Cam Scadaboo was picked in the fourth round, and he's only like 1 yard away from Ibuke from tying him for fourth overall. You know what I mean? So, I can guarantee you, almost McMillan's been a starter probably the whole season. Scadaboo hasn't. He hasn't started at all. He'll be starting this week though. So Scadaboo has been a backup running back, right? Is fifth as far as yards. Okay, on scrimmage. Now, we have 3 games, right? So we have another 14 to go. So Cam is on pace, not quite for 1,000 yards, but once again, he's been a backup all 3 games. Now he's a starter. So if he can stay healthy and all that, he'll be on pace, hopefully. If he remains a starter, we'll have to wait and see. But he's on pace. He might want to get 1,000 yards himself, total, between rushing and receiving. We'll have to keep an eye out for that. But, I mean, he's only, 60? He's only 70. He's only 27 yards from the first guy as far as overall yards for rookies. 27 yards. And I said he's been a backup the whole time. So, when the Chargers have the ball, Brian Burns is in a 3-way tie for second with the sacks. But Burns is the only player with at least 4 sacks and 3 passes defense in the league. Herbert leads the NFL with 860 passing yards. And he's looking to become the first player in NFL history with 0 interceptions in 10 consecutive road games, minimum 15 attempts in each game. Since he was drafted 6th overall in 2020, Herbert's interception rate of 1.5% is the second lowest in the NFL. Herbert has been sacked 10 times this season, 5th most in the league entering week 4. So this, I mean, if the Giants are going to get some pressure, this is the week to do it. Okay, because he can get sacked. Right? Chargers are the only team in the NFL that have multiple players with at least 3 touchdown catches, Quentin Johnson and Keenan Allen. Ladd McConkey was yet to find an end zone in 2025, the second on the team with 15 receptions. But they got 3 really good wide receivers, right? Running back Najee Harris suffered a season-ending Achilles injury in Week 3. Rookie Omarion Hampton stepped up and became the 3rd Chargers rookie in the past 50 seasons to have 70-plus rushing yards and 50-plus receiving yards in a single game. So, according to NFL research, only 3 former Ole Miss quarterbacks have started 14 games in the NFL since 1950. 2 of them made all their career starts with the Giants, Eli Manning and Charlie Connolly. Let's see. The others was Archie Manning, Eli's father. Dart won the Connolly Trophy in 2024, given annually to the best college player in the state of Mississippi. Now, Charlie Connolly was not a rookie, and they said, well, okay. According to NFL research, only 3 former Ole Miss quarterbacks have started 14 games in the NFL since 1950. Okay, 2 of them made all their career starts with the Giants. Eli Manning and Charlie Connolly. I've started 14 games in the NFL. Only 3 former Ole Miss quarterbacks have started 14 games in the NFL. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, Connolly was with the Giants for a long time, so was Eli Manning. But so only 3 Mississippi quarterbacks, Ole Miss quarterbacks, have started 14 games in the NFL since 1950. Wow. It's a small list. Very, very small list. But it's going to be another, I have to wait and see. I mean, we certainly at the end of the game, we could be just scratching our head. It's like, why did the Giants do this? Why did the Giants do that? Why did the Giants? It's like, that's why we lost 23-10. Or why did we lose 24-3? Or, I mean, it just seems like it's like Groundhog's Day over and over and over. Right. The biggest thing out of this here is, let's see what Jaxson Dart has, right? I mean, I said he doesn't have to light the world on fire, right? Can he go through his progressions? Keep the turnovers down. Things look smooth, right? The spotlight overwhelm him. You see a couple really good throws in there. A couple times he goes through his progressions. It's like they just tuck it down and take off and get a first down, keep the drive alive. Give us some hope going forward. I mean, the Chargers' offensive line is a little nicked up. Okay, the running defense is not that great. They don't give up a lot of rushing yards, but that's because they're ahead. The other team winds up having to play catch up, so they want to throw the ball a lot. Okay, now the Chargers have a very good passing defense. Okay, since their running defense is not super spectacular. So if Andrew Thomas can play a majority of the snaps this week, that would really, really be good. If we can get our running game going, if we get if we can get Cam in there, right? Give the dude some holes, right? Get that crowd fired up and all. Well, anything can happen. I just don't know what to expect, because it's like you go into every week, right? And you expect great things or you hope for great things, and just one way or the other, you just seem to be let down, right? It just seemed, against the Commanders, it was like, where's our offense at? Against the Cowboys, 14 penalties that killed us. So many other things went against us. Last week against the Chiefs, there were so many other things that went against us. It's just like, so, well, hopefully we win. Unfortunately, probably we're going to lose, but every game is different. You have no idea. Like I said, the biggest thing is, can Jaxson Dart go out there and play some football and give us New York Giants fans some hope for the future? I hope he can. Right. All right, guys, been 1 hour and 27 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay of this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants! Woo! Oh, yeah.